Okay, dear, thank you for coming, and I want to share your experiences with everyone. And it's tell me how all of these chronic cystitis issues started. What did you do before coming, and why do you think why you couldn't heal completely from this?
So, from being a child, I think I always suffered with cystitis. My mum said that I used to always hold my wee in as a child. As I got to a teenager, it was just cystitis all the time, so burning wheeze just every other day. I was constantly taking cystitis sachets. That used to do the trick, and then
Also in teenage ages.
in teenage ages I got burning wheeze. But then as soon as I turned, I think it was 21, 22, it started with infections. It was an infection that lasted about a month that my doctors wouldn't give me antibiotics for.
They give 3 days antibiotics.
3-day antibiotics. A few days later, all my symptoms was back. It took a week to get more antibiotics.
My daughter has some issues like you.
Really?
She has too much vaginal discharge, and she's always prone to get some infections.
Yeah.
For me, I am planning, what I am planning is, when she will start the sexual life, I'm planning to give long term, I mean 1 week, 2 weeks of antibiotics at first tries. So, because it's always become permanent at these times. This is the critical time.
It is. It's as soon as you really become sexually active, it just goes through the roof, and that's what happened for me. Like at the start, like he was my first sleeping partner, and it's the only person I've ever slept with as well. And at the
Typical
start,
British.
yeah, really. But yeah,
No, of course.
I know it's not typical British. It's rare. But then, as soon as I become sexually active, it was just about a year afterwards. It was just, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I always had symptoms. I was always burning.
He is guilty. He had too much sexual transmitted disease.
I thought I was allergic to him. I was like, we don't
allergic.
agree.
You are so.
I was like, you must be allergic. I'm allergic to you. Just
people
can't
think
do it.
not allergic. People say, hey, here you have some sexual transmitted disease. You pass them to me, but men are always innocent in this subject, and unfortunately, they are very lucky. They don't get this. They never get this.
I'm so jealous of men. I said if I have another baby, I want a boy because I don't want to have a girl to put through what girls go through.
So first one you succeeded. I don't know what will be the second. How old is he now?
My little boy is 2 years, 10 months. He's almost 3. But yeah, so I remember I got my first water infection. I think was I 18 or 21? I think it was 21. That was when I remember my first bad water infection. And then ever since then it was like every month I was getting water infections. It was like after my period I was always getting water infections.
At some point it becomes constant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes permanent.
It was permanent,
Yeah, even when you didn't have a water infection, you was uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I'd have my antibiotics, and then all the weeks until the next water infection, I'd be, my bladder would feel like it was, like there was pressure down there. I'd have burning wheeze. I'd have discomfort.
Can you locate, for example, people sometimes, it's down below, they say, could you say it's down there, and how do you locate?
It used to feel like it was my urethra.
Yeah,
so I used to, I know it sounds horrible, but every night I get in bed and I just grab my downstairs area and I just squeeze it because it kind of takes a little bit of this feeling away from my urethra, but it always felt.
And most of the time there is no active infection, no bacteria.
They
may be embedded or they may be biofilm covered, but not active, not a flare, but still, even you have negative culture results, no leukocytes in urine tests, still there is some irritation. It's irritating. So that's why when you compress, it gives you another feeling, so you forget about it, suppress this feeling. You feel better as you go to sleep.
And then I'd have another wee and I'd be back in the same position. And I'd probably say about 30 minutes of just being really uncomfortable after every wee.
So about your main symptoms during the day.
During the day, my main symptoms would be my bladder would feel a little bit burny. and my wheeze would, be frequently weeing. So it might be like...
During the wee, was there a problem during the weeing?
Sometimes there was and sometimes there wasn't, but my problem with weeing was always at the very end of my wee. I kind of got a bit of a sensation at the very end, or that's when I'd get a really bad burn at the very end of my wee. And like even standing up weeing, I know it sounds weird, but say if I hear water running, I get like a pain in my bladder. It's as if like I need to wee, but I'm holding it back, but it'd give me like a bladder pain as well. Or if I'd get in the shower, my body would naturally want to wee, but it really hurts for me to wee stood up. I don't know.
And we were lucky that you didn't use these long-term continuous antibiotic treatments. When I hear about it, when we were talking to you beforehand, then I said, okay, we will find good amounts of leukoplakia, and the bladder, I hope it will be healthy. And it was like this. Why didn't you use these long-term antibiotics? Didn't anyone suggest this?
I got suggested long-term antibiotics quite a lot. I've seen 2 different urologists in Manchester, and both of them turned around and said to me, we don't know why you're getting wire infections, your bladder's absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing we can try now is long-term antibiotics. And I was like, well, I'll try it if this is the last resort. So I went to my doctors, they got my results, and they was like, are you sure you want to try long-term? Because you could become resistant to these antibiotics. And I thought, well, is it going to get rid of my water infections? And they was like, well, we don't know. So I said, well, what happens if I have long-term antibiotics and then I get a water infection? It was like, well, they might not work for you. And I said, so what would I do if I had a water infection and I couldn't treat it? And they was like, well, we don't know. So I said, I don't want to go on long-term antibiotics.
I have to confess that if they are working in some manner, they are making the life more tolerable. When people use it, they say, hey, I was really in a very bad situation before, now life is more tolerable, more bearable. They bring you to some point, but as far as I see, most of the people cannot get rid of them completely. That's the problem. First problem, actually. Second problem, when I go into their bladder, the bladder is too much ill. All the walls, when I just feel the bladder, there's bleeding begins. I was shocked when I see it first. From most of the parts of the bladder, mucosa tearings happen, mucosa is cracking, and bladder capacity is low, bladder is very pale, it's ill. And it begins bleeding from everywhere. So I said, why is that happening? I was not seeing it in my Turkish patients. I was shocked a little. Then I understand the only difference is using these continuous antibiotics for a long term. And now I know, and they heal the superficial part of the trigone. I never see, not never, but most of the time, not abundant leukoplakia. They have some leukoplakia, but most of them heal. Underneath, the trigone was reddish, so we treated trigone, but the rest of the bladders was really horrible. So in your case, you didn't use them and your bladder was healthy. The problem was huge, abundant in the trigone area. Actually, I improved the procedure in last November a little bit, because I noticed that when we go inside with normal rigid endoscope, we can only see the trigone because it looks forward and 30-degree downward. So you see your front, and when you look to sides, it's like looking from like a hole from here. When you look, you see the front end, but you can see the upper parts of the bladder. So I was always thinking, the problem is always in the trigone, in the base of the bladder. Trigone is 2 orifices, 2 holes bringing the urine from kidney and the entrance of the bladder. It's a trigonal shape area, we call it trigone. Then I noticed that if you look in with a flexible cystoscope, go inside and turn back, and from upper part of the bladder you look down, the problem is covering all around the bladder neck. So nowadays I'm doing this way, and the results are much more better. I am sending questionnaires constantly to everyone, and please answer them. Everyone at the beginning is very eager to help and answer, but they really get tired from this. and they want to forget everything.
Yeah.
Even if they are good, they forget instantly.
Yeah.
If they are not bad, they don't want to hear anything about it.
Yeah.
They're right. They are my friends. All of them. All of my patients we are really close and good friends. But I need the answers. So not much of them is answering. But I can say the success rate of this procedure is 65% in ladies coming from abroad, mainly the United Kingdom and the United States, but 85% in Turkey. I was thinking it was 80 to 60, but I can say, actually I give them please rate over 10. I would say it is successful if they give 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And yeah, the success rate is 20% higher in the Turkish group, and they are the ladies who didn't use this long-term antibiotics. So in your bladder, yeah, as I say, this was good. Bladder was healthy, and I'm very hopeful. We will see. We will make your follow-up, and I will send you questionnaires, and we will be in touch. Now I will give you some supplements to prevent previous infections. And this is a big society, community. We are always in touch. And when there is a new development, it's in electric speed, it's disseminated all over our society, and we are always trying to help each other, everyone. So I think it's at least, and when in the questionnaire, when 65% of them say they have success, more than 85% is saying you have to continue doing this, and 88% actually, they said I will recommend this procedure to someone who is having the same symptoms. That means they are thinking they are a little late. Still, I feel in my heart someday it will work for them when their bladder get more strong. So we will be in touch, and I will try to help you as much as I can. Thank you.
I will be very verbal with you, because I'm very in touch with my body. Like I've got this weird pain here, it feels like this, and it's here. Like I'm very much like, I feel everything going on in my body, so I will be able to give you a lot of detail.
When they have a chronic issue, they become really expert on this. You can understand. They can say, "Oh, okay, it's down there, it's here." They can pinpoint the exact site. So all of my patients are like professors of urology.
I know. I'm like, I hear of people that are suffering. I'm like, well, there's embedded tissue in the bladder and blah blah blah. And I feel like I'm, like this
nowadays I am following the literature by them. When there's a new research, they send me, "Hey doctor, did you see there's a research?" I was like, "Okay, I don't see." They are really faster than me because they are working on this continuously. Okay, thank you for coming. And nowadays I improved the procedure, but I am putting the catheter a little longer. 3 days. How was it? How painful?
So
be honest, because I want everyone to know everything in 100%, and expectations must be knowing that they have to do it with it knowing.
When I first got back to the hotel, it was the same day that I had the procedure, and I got on the bed and I went, I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't do it. I'm going to have to rip it out. And Aaron was like, no, you got to do it, Charlie, you'll be fine. And I was like, right, okay. So I got through that first night really comfortable. I was fine when I was asleep. I was worried that I'd turn and pull it, but I didn't. In the first day, as soon as I had my antibiotic and my ibuprofen, I was kind of okay. Got to the evening, it kind of got to the afternoon, and like if I stood up and walked, it was just really, really uncomfortable, but it was manageable. But you just basically cannot do anything other than lie down and walk to the toilet, because I went outside for a little walk to the shop. I shouldn't have done it, but I was just like, I've been laid down for 24 hours, I think I'm fine to just walk over the road, and I did, and it just really didn't work well at all. I was really uncomfortable after that. But it's doable, you just get through it. It's not painful, it's just a weird sensation in my bladder. It's like, I can't explain it, but if you hold the bag or you just let the bag touch something ever so lightly, it just sends like a weird feeling into my bladder. My urethra felt like it was just stuck to it, like very dry. And then I got thrush. I don't know where I got that from. I probably got it from the antibiotics because I'm really sensitive, because I don't think I've got much good.
We burnt these tissues, we evaporated, and the balloon of the catheter, there's a balloon inside to prevent it coming out, and it's in touch with this scar tissue.
Well, I think it was like an airtight feeling that I could feel.
Yeah, actually the balloon, it's filled with water, but there is something touching, and it is not usual urine, it's something different, something solid. Maybe you are feeling something different because of that. And when it came out, now you are without the catheter for a day. It's too early, of course, but what kind of feelings are you experiencing? Do you feel any changes?
When you pulled that catheter out, I felt instant relief. And I think the whole time after my procedure that I was feeling anything, it was just from the urethra, from the catheter, sorry. I wasn't feeling any pain with my bladder. It was just generally that catheter being in. Afterwards, I could walk completely fine, because obviously it affects your walking, you kind of just like hobbling from foot to foot.
Like a penguin?
Yeah, like a penguin. But I felt instantly better, and then my first week, you said, you might feel like you want to keep weeing and push something out and go lie on your belly. Like, my first wee was absolutely fine. It just stung a little bit at the very end, but I think it was just from my urethra the catheter irritated me a little bit. But my wees have been absolutely fine. I've not had burning wees, I've not had pain. My bladder, when I need a wee, it doesn't feel like it's bursting. I just feel, my bladder just feels so relaxed, and I don't know how else to
Can
explain
you say it's feeling lighter?
Yeah, it just feels really light. Like when I wake up in the morning, usually I'm like, bursting for a wee, run to the toilet, like can't make it, where now I wake up, even though I had 3 litres of water yesterday as well, but this morning I woke up and I was like, I don't have to rush to the toilet. It doesn't feel like my bladder's going to explode. It's just strange. It just feels, I do feel like I've had instant relief.
Unfortunately, only 20% of the patients is feeling good enough like you before. Now it's a little, I think, better, the results now after I improved the procedure. Maybe a little, but I don't have the statistics now, but before only 20% was like you. The other say, it's difficult, it's pain still the same, and this still the same issue was continuing in some patients only 1 week, sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 6 months, but nowadays, and 20% of them say, it's instantly relief. Now I think this instant relief is more common among the group. I hope, usually if it starts like this, it goes like this. We will be in touch. I hope. Cross your fingers, and I hope.
I think the catheter being in for 3 days, I do think that helps.
It helps the regeneration of the tissues. Because when there is no catheter, the bladder expands when it fills with urine, and there is scar. The scar expands and it becomes small again. So the catheter keeps them calm, keep it stable. So now we love to do it like this, and it seems not very comfortable but tolerable. So we will continue some time like this.
I expected the recovery to be a lot worse. I think I prepared for the worst. And it was just
cross the fingers.
Even just the first few days after the procedure, I just expected to be having really painful wheeze, and I've not really had that at all. My bladder calmed down straight after surgery.
Don't forget your bladder. Don't be too much confident. Don't hold it for 7 hours, and don't say, I am totally, and you keep yourself away from this guy for 2 months.
2 months. Doctor said 2 months, so it's 2 months. Maybe 6 months. Never again.
Yeah, the husbands are really nice.
But yeah, I don't think I could naturally just go back into being confident with everything. I think because my mind, because it's been so long, my mind's like, oh, I can't drink that, I can't do this, can't eat that.
Yeah.
I think it will take me a long time to just.
The longest healing thing is the mind. People
Yeah.
don't believe it. They are getting better for a long time because they used to live like this
Yeah.
for a long time. And it's difficult. Of course, I understand that. No, it's normal. It's normal,
Yeah.
but after some time they say, okay, I'm good. I'm good enough.
Yeah.
Um,
I spoke to a few of your, or one of your patients,
Yeah.
and she said like it's been, can't remember how long it's been for her now, but she said like she's at the point now where she can't even remember what it used to be like. She said, and it kind of is crazy for me to even be thinking that.
yeah.
She said, so you do get there, just takes
Yeah,
time.
I am really confident with the procedure. I didn't do it to 20 ladies and now you are the 21st lady. No, I am doing 700 cases in Turkey approximately, and the ladies coming from abroad. You are the 101, 101st maybe.
Yeah.
So this is not new for me, and people know that I am an
Yeah.
honest guy and I am not a bad person, and I
Yeah.
would not do it if I didn't believe this is working.
Mhm.
I would not do it.
Actually, we
So-
could tell that, couldn't we? From
Yeah.
just the FaceTime that we
Yeah.
had with you. I just
So
could tell.
just I know that it's working, and the success ratio may be a little lower than I expected. Still,
Mhm.
I am sending the questionnaires. They are objectively taking the responses back to me, but it's 85% in Turkey, 65% in the abroad group. Maybe some of the not responded ladies are not answering because they are angry, but still maybe 5% less. Still, it's working. I know, I'm confident with it. And
Yeah.
previously, I was saying, hey, use the treatments, these long-term treatments, as long as you want, then come to me. Now, I want to say, hey, please don't waste too much time if you are not feeling it's working.
Yeah.
And doing it earlier is really, really the results are better.
Better. Yeah.
So
100%.
I want to recommend like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like me, because I spoke to you and then I thought, right, so I can either do it now or it's going to be September. And I spoke to my family and they was like, Chelsea, you need to do it now. Like, the longer you wait, the more antibiotics that you're going to be having in them months before you get it done. Because I had, just before I had 2 water infections back to back, and I was like, why? What is wrong with my bladder? Like, I've not done anything that could trigger it, and I've got
I
a
don't
water
know
infection.
how much people understand this, but my theory, the tissues become modified, change the nature.
Yeah.
So they are now not bladder tissue anymore. When we take biopsy, this is a squamous metaplasia, which means the normal bladder cell has changed its nature to another type of cell. So even there is no bacteria touching it, the urine, when the urine touch to that part,
Mhm.
it is irritating because
Right.
the normal bladder cells are resistant to the touching of the urine. But
Yeah.
this part of the bladder, which is trigone and all around the bladder neck, now it's a different type of tissue. This is like a skin tissue or vaginal tissue, and these tissues are not resistant to acid. If you put urine here every time, drop a urine, it will be a reddish tissue here, and it will give some irritation. Not
Yeah.
a pain like a knife,
Yeah.
but it's an irritation. So this tissue, if it stays there, antibiotics are cleaning the bacteria but not changing the nature, not replacing these tissues.
Right.
Because if you have a wound here and you pour acid on it every day,
Well, a bit like babies with nappies, they get
Yeah.
nappy rash, don't they?
you
they
have to
go
do something
out.
for this rash.
Yeah.
And so you can't pour any cream in it, you can't. So
Yeah.
I hope maybe there are someone who are getting totally cured with the other
Yeah.
treatments. But if you are not, if you are confident, you understand that normal therapies are not working for you, just you have to do it earlier.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, thank you for sharing us these informations. I always a little shy to share such kind of things, but we have to share with this and people have to know
I'm
about
so used to sharing everything. Like, I remember one time I was in work and I went up to my male manager. I went, I'm so sorry, Steve. I need to go home. I feel like I've got a blowtorch on my vagina. And he went, Chelsea, you didn't need to tell me. I said, I'm in a bad way and I need to go now. He went, get your bag and go. Like, I was so fed up. I didn't care what doctor it was, what person it was, whether it's guy. I was like, you need to know every detail, because you do, when it's like this chronic or recurring, you just...
Even doctors are learning from these videos nowadays, not from books. The ideas, the thoughts and experience of people are very important.
Yeah.
So we have to share such things, and we have to learn more and more and from our experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Cheers.